If you Google saying yes to America, you get numerous entries to saying yes to the wedding dress. That really wasn't what I was looking for, but it was a very American answer. While we are consumed by reality TV, celebrity intrigue, and nonsense, only a few of our faults, we are also a hopeful people, something that the wedding dress represents. Saying yes to the dress or to America is a way of acknowledging that one American trait that can't be taken away from us, no matter what happens, is our propensity to thrive in experimentation and a willingness to fail to succeed and to still have hope. Yes to America on this day, when you're probably either preparing for parades in your neighborhoods or tired from a day of celebration, depending on when you started and when you're viewing this. Yes to America is today's word. We will stand by roads today and cheer marching bands and children in red, white, and blue covered bicycles and fire trucks and high school sports teams that throw candy to children from flatbeds. We will lift up drinks and grill food in the name of America, one of the world's great experiments. We will suspend for a moment the anxiety and pain of our country if we can, remembering briefly that we are also a country of juxtapositions, as I said last week. Remembering that in our glory there is history that pains us and discriminates. And today in some places there is splendor and in some squalor, and still we will say yes to America. Today, some walk down American streets covered in the colors of our country, and some walk down streets pulling all they have in a shopping cart, and we will still say yes to America. Today, some will splash in clean pools and bask on boats in clean waters, and some will seek to collect water from puddles and bathe in dripping drains on the sides of buildings that hide their bodies from the street. Today, we will light off fireworks that mimic the bombs of the Revolutionary War victories over the colonizers of Britain for America, and today, some will hear gunshots and cover their windows with mattresses, hoping their children don't get shot. And still, we will say yes to America. We say yes to America today because we still live in one of the greatest experiments in democracy that has ever been, however fragile it feels to be today. We're still planted in the soil, whether our ancestors were brought here in chains like so many ancestors of members of our church, or they were families that stowed away in boats seeking freedom like my family did. Or they watched as lands were claimed, or they claimed lands for cultivation with the power of their privilege. We say yes to America because, as a financial advisor said to me a couple weeks ago, if you are firmly middle class in America, you are still stinking rich in comparison to the rest of the world. Because the land of our country that is not devastated by human hands is majestic. We say yes because of its mountain peaks and lush valleys and prairie lands that still extend far and wide, its shores that have beauty unmatched. Because there is reason to hope that we are progressing towards so much. There are more women CEOs today than there ever have been. The wage gap is decreasing between men and women. 40% of entrepreneurs in America are women, and we have a female vice president. We can say yes to America because of those things. And because the coronavirus is in recession, because solar and wind energy are now cheaper than fossil fuels, because cities are discussing new models of policing, and according to one study I read, today's teens are far healthier and safer and more risk-adverse than any generation in modern history. And we say yes to America because we still have Dolly Parton. Among other things that are good in America, we can't forget, we have hash browns and high-speed internet and central air conditioning and Beyonce and jazz and the blues and folk and country and summer camp, among other things. When we say yes to America, let us not forget that we are one of the most diverse countries in the world, and saying yes doesn't mean the same thing to everyone. Remember the poem today. The poem points out a white woman married to a Filipino man, constantly learning what yes means. It means A, I don't know, B, if you say so, C, if it will please you, or D, I hope I have said yes unenthusiastically enough for you to realize I mean no. So we'd be right to remember that saying yes or anything else like God bless America or Happy 4th of July means different things to different people, because we are so rich in diversity and because we can coexist with some effort. Many of our challenges are born out of our struggle to understand each other, and even so, that is a good thing. Let us say yes in many ways today, in our celebrations and in our challenges. Seeing ourselves for who we are, the spiritual work of today to truly see clearly what we are and to say yes anyway. Let us not forget that we are what Barry Spector says in his book Madness at the Gates of the City. He writes, "We are an ambiguous, conflicted mix of crusading moralism, anxious consumerism, cutthroat competition, aggressive practicality, racist brutality, apocalyptic fear, arrogant optimism, cheerful naivete, willful ignorance, celebrity worship, and generous goodwill." His point is that our myths of innocence can't hold us together, that even when we see the contradictions, we can also tune our spiritual selves to the generous goodwill that exists within us and among us, because we are a country of hope and ambition. My point in today's sermon is simply this, that despite all the challenges that we know of, and some very well articulated by our members today in their videos that range from wondering if America wants them because of their color of their skin to wondering if they are going to live through the day. This point is that they're still saying they love this country. They're still saying yes to this country. That saying yes to this country is saying yes to each other. Yes to those who disagree with you. Yes to those who don't look like you in the parade today. Yes to those who don't vote like you or make what you do or even care as much as you do about the things you care about. Because without yes, we are nothing but the first 90% of Spector's analysis. What we need to be is 90% of the last statement of Spector's analysis, that we are people of generous goodwill whose aim is loving one another. That is why we say yes to America today. And we say yes because we are such a beautiful blend of all these things, all these people and all these ages. So let us say yes to America today on our Independence Day, and let us celebrate together, not just the abstract notion of freedom, but the real notion that we can have goodwill for each other, even in our difference, that the work is to understand each other, to understand the yes that we can live into. I want to close with the musical word today. A blending of American heritage from the creative and wonderful artist Jon Batiste, who took the national anthem in his love for this country and his challenge to it and mixed it with the black national anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, and played it in one version at the NBA season opening day some years back. Listen closely. He says that in it are influences of jazz from the 20s and Duke Ellington and Jimi Hendrix. He says the way that Jimi Hendrix took the national anthem, the way that Marvin Gaye and Whitney took it, that tradition is what I'm thinking of when I play it. The diaspora that they infused into it is a response to the toxic ideologies that are embedded in the song and thus in the culture, he says. This version, he says, is our people standing up, all people standing up, all Americans who believe in the ideal of what America is meant to represent, standing up. And that's the feeling I want to ignite in anybody who hears me play this version of the song Jon Batiste says. So I say to you today, friends, go in peace. Walk softly on your path, and may God shine in you all the days of your life. And let us stand up, friends. Stand up if we can for this version of the national anthem. Let us say today and in the future a big yes to America. Jon Batiste will close our service.